Brick that media, we up. Thanks for tuning in to another video. Is being a UPS driver the best job? I'm going to tell you what I think here in a minute. Thanks for tuning in. Now, I talk with my customers. I talk with people on the street, random people, and they always ask me like, oh man, you have a good job. Y'all have great benefits. Y'all get paid well. Man, I wish I could make that amount of money. I wish I could be a UPS driver. Now, we already know, and I've said this in previous videos, that this job is not for most people. Even people that have this job, some of them is not for them either, right? But I'm just saying, like, I get it all the time. Like, they say all the good stuff, the pay, the benefits. Yeah, they don't like the fact that we don't have AC. They feel bad for us and stuff like that in the summertime. But for the most part, people in general are impressed by the job, right? For multiple reasons. There's this old saying that, you know, oh man, the UPS driver or the UPS guy is kind of like my favorite delivery driver. And most people will say that. I would say that it's probably accurate. It's probably accurate. I am me, and I'm just speaking for myself. I am the most active, the most charismatic, the most loving, the most nice, easygoing delivery driver you will find in these streets. I'm gonna say that right now. I don't know everybody, but I know what I'm capable of. Okay, so let's get back to the topic. So we know what the general public thinks about a UPS driver, right? And we also know how UPS drivers, well, if y'all don't know, I will tell y'all right now how UPS drivers think about themselves and how they think about other UPS drivers. So we're trying to answer the question, is being a UPS driver, is it the best job? If you ask a customer, if you ask a person in the general public, they will, for the most part, they will say that, oh yeah, man, that's a dope job. And I can't tell you how many people I run into almost daily want to get on. We understand, we get it. Most people are not willing to go work in a warehouse. They just want to go straight and drive. So the vanity of the job, most people are flattered by, you know? And so many people in the general public might think that, oh yeah, that's the best job. If I could only drive one day, yeah, I know it's hard work, but I know I can do it. The benefits and the pay, it'll supersede the amount of hard work I have to put in. Now, on the flip side, if you ask drivers like myself, my colleagues, you get a mixed bag. And for whatever reason, most drivers, and I'm gonna say most, I mean, that could be 51% and higher, most drivers, they don't feel the same way as the general public. Because if you ask them like, hey man, you know, you think you got the best job? You think it's a, you know, most drivers gonna be like, they're gonna have a negative disposition on the job, and they will sit here and they tell you all of the negative things that goes with the job. But you know, if you ask me, that's with any job. You know, any job, whether you work from home, whether you work in the office, whether you're a delivery driver, whether you're a corporate executive, it doesn't matter. You're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff that you can complain about, but on the flip side, most of the time you always have stuff that you can actually be proud of. But you know, people tend not to share those things. But anyways, you ask drivers, for the most part, they will tell you all of the bad things, and they will show up on Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and they will complain about the job, which I'm not saying that they don't have right to complain. We all have our right to complain, but you will hear all of the negative things. So if you ask that same question to a driver, a UPS driver, and they will tell you, most of them will tell you, no, this job sucks. For various reasons, if you ask why, they will say, nah, this job sucks. But at the same time, they're gonna show up tomorrow, in the next day, or they might call in the third day, but they'll keep showing up in order to endure through the pain, the misery, the disdain of the job. But they will keep showing up, and they will work 15, 20, 25 years on a job that they don't really have anything nice to say about. Now, my opinion, I think it's a pretty good gig. I think might not be the best, but I rank it pretty high. And I have my reasons. But let's go back to the other driver's opinion, the negative opinion. Now, when you look at the way it's structured, right? We have a union, we have Teamsters, we have the union. So they bargain with UPS for many things in a contract, from pay to rights, benefits, all of that good stuff, right? And so you're pretty much protected with the union. Personally, I think that's good and bad, because you will have people or drivers that'll do some questionable stuff. They'll get in trouble, right? They'll get written up. They'll get suspended by management. They'll come back a few weeks later, and most of the time they'll work for a little bit and they'll do it again. And then, so you have a group of drivers that's in and out. You'll see them for a few months, you won't see them for a few weeks. You see them for a few months, you won't see them for a few weeks. It's just a revolving door when it comes to not new drivers, just the same drivers going in and out. Those drivers that complain a lot, they probably won't tell you that that is the case. It's very, very hard to get fired at UPS. Now, when it comes to management, that's a different story. But if you're a union worker, it's extremely hard to get fired. So in my opinion, just that alone, just that aspect alone, it should bump it up pretty high as far as one of the best jobs, just because you have the job security where you can do some dumb shit and you might get a slap on the wrist, and then you come on back and you are enabled to do the dumb shit all over again, right? That's something that people don't talk about. But here at Brick Dot Media, we gonna talk about it, okay? And so it hurts a lot of the drivers that do a lot of things right and who really don't get in trouble, because the union, they spend a lot of time trying to help these drivers that's always getting in trouble and help them get back to work and go to panels and all of that stuff, have meetings and all of this stuff. And you have the drivers that really don't get into too much trouble. We all pay union dues, but like I said before, the drivers that say that, man, this job sucks, they probably won't even say, or they probably won't tell you that, man, it sucks, but I'm still here and I did some messed up stuff at times, right? But I'm still here and I'm able to work still and support my family and retire whenever it's time to retire. So to answer the question, is being a UPS driver the best job? In my opinion, it's ranked pretty high. It's ranked pretty high. And, outside of the negative stuff or the stuff that might not put it in the best light, like the workload, the no AC in the package cars, and just the physical labor that's involved with the job, it actually has some really, really good perks. If you have a business route, you get to meet some cool people. Even if you have a resi route, you get to meet some cool customers. For the most part, people are nice. You have your rude people out there, but that's everywhere, right? And so, you have perks. You get gift cards for Christmas. You get Christmas gifts from customers who really care about you and stuff like that. And so I think it's a really, really good gig. And I might do another video and maybe highlight maybe some of the jobs that might be better. But me personally, I don't think it's that many. Now, I might be off and a lot of people might disagree with me, but those people that disagree with me, it's cool. It's welcome. But at the same time, this job has a lot of perks. Job has a lot of perks. If you can endure through the physical side, there's a lot of perks that I think get overlooked by the negativity and the downside of the job. Just like any job, you're going to have to earn your pay. Well, most jobs, you got to earn your pay. So you got to earn your pay. You just work hard and show up, And I think everything is okay. So to answer your question again, it depends on who you ask. It depends on who you ask. If you ask me, you know what you're gonna get. If you ask somebody that's probably negative most of the time, you're probably gonna say this job sucks, you know? And that's okay. It's all about perspective, all right? Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next video. Breakdown Media, we out.